to share. But the none other than Qadi Shurayh al-Kindi rahimahullah, he was a judge appointed by Umar radiallahu anhu, and he was from the Tabi'un. He accepted Islam in Yemen from Ali radiallahu anhu, and he was the Chief Justice for 60 years rahimahullah in Iraq. His friend Ash-Sha'bi, who was a great scholar of the Tabi'un, and even some of the Sahaba used to learn from Ash-Sha'bi, even though he never met the Prophet ﷺ. So it's mentioned that Sha'bi and Shurayh have a discussion. So Sha'bi asked Shurayh that, how are you doing? He said, I'm doing well. He said, وَأَيْ كَيْفَ حَالُ زَوْجَتِكَ? That how is your wife doing? And this is not something shameful. If a man mentions some details to his friends that he loves, that of course he will not mention private details, but to talk about your marriage to those you trust, this is not something that's prohibited or detested in the Sharia. So he said, I swear by Allah, O Sha'bi, that for 20 years I have never seen any bad character from my wife. She never made me angry one time. So Sha'bi, being as pious as he was and knowledgeable, he said, Subhanallah wa kayfa dhalik? He said, how is that possible? He said, يا شعبي منذ أول ليلة دخلت فيها على زوجتي رأيت بها جمالا نادرا وحسنا باهرا. He said, from the first night, my newlywed night with my wife, until now I have not seen anything except the beauty of her character. فقلت أصلي ركعتين شكرا لله. So he started his marriage how? That today we plan where is the banquet hall and where is the after event, outdoor wedding, or this hall, and this is the honeymoon destination, and this is the caterer, and this is the decorations, and this is where I get my dress and my tuxedo, and all these things are planned. But this man, he planned his marriage with his wife, not just in this world, but in Akhirah. He said, I prayed 2 rak'ah, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for my wife. So he said, فَلَمَّا صَلَيْتُ وَسَلَّمْتُ رَأَيْتُ زَوْجَتِي تُصَلِّي بِصَلَاتِي وَتُسَلِّمْ بِسَلَامِي. He said, when I made salam from my salah, I saw my wife was behind me also making salam. Meaning she joined him in salah without him knowing and followed him. فَلَمَّا انْتَهَيْنَا وَانْفَضَّ الْأَهْلُ وَالْأَحْبَابُ مَدَدْتُ يَدِي نَحْوَهَا عَلَى رِسْلِكَ يَا أَبَا أُمَيَّةَ. So when they finished the salah, Shurayh, he wanted to extend his hand to his wife. So before she grabbed his hand, she said, "Oh, father of Umayy," which was his kunya. Allahu A'lam, I'm not sure if he had children before this marriage. So she said, "Ahmadullah wa asta'inuhu wa astaghfiruhu wa usalli wa usallim ala Rasulillah." He said, I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I seek His help, and I seek forgiveness from Allah, and I send salutations on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أبا أمية إني امرأة غريبة عنك لا علم لي بأخلاقك فبين لي ما تحب فآتيه وما تكرهه فأتركه. That he said, she told him, I am a woman who is unfamiliar to you. Right? So it's important to know your spouse. She said, I do not know your mannerisms and your character. So explain to me, communicate to me what you like in goodness, so I do it, and what you dislike from bad, and I will avoid it. أبا أمية لقد كان لك من نساء قومك من هي كفوا لك ولقد كان لي من رجال قوم من هو كفوا لي. She said, before we married, there were many women from your tribe who were more compatible with you, and there were many men from my tribe that are more compatible with me. And then she recited the ayah, فَإِمْسَاكٌ بِمَعْرُوفٍ وَتَسْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ. Marriage should be either staying together in goodness or separation through kindness. So then, وَأَقُولُ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ. And then she said, this is my speech, I seek Allah's forgiveness for you and I. So then Shurayh, he said, فَأَحْوَجَتْنِي وَاللَّهِ إِلَى الْخُطْبَةِ فِي ذَلِكَ يَا شَعْبِي. He said, this speech of my wife 20 years ago on our wedding night, it made me realize that I had to say, أحمد الله وأستعينه وأستغفره وصلي وسلم على رسول الله. I praise Allah, I seek His forgiveness, I seek His help, and I send salutations on Prophet Muhammad. فإنك قلت كلاما إن ثبت عليه لقد قلت فإنك قلت كلاما إن ثبت عليه يكون حظك وإن تدعيه يكون حجة عليك. He told her that what you just said in this good speech, if you are steadfast upon it, you will get good from me. And if you do not hold yourself accountable to these words, then it will be evidence against you. أما إني أحب كذا وكذا وأكره كذا وكذا. He said, as for me, I love this and that, and I dislike this and that. فما تحب من زيارة أهلي. So then his wife asked him, this is a common issue with in-laws. Do you allow my in-laws to visit, like an open door policy? So he responded, he was honest, he said, ما أحب أن يملني أصحابي. He said, I do not want my in-laws to come too much, and that will bore me, for lack of a better translation. فمن تحب من جيرانك أن يدخل دارك. He said that which of your neighbors are you allowing to enter our home? So he said, بنو فلان قوم صالحون. He said, as for that specific tribe, they are righteous people. وبنو فلان قوم سوء. But this other tribe is bad in character. They are a bad tribe. وما رأيت من حسنة فانشريها وما رأيت من حسنة فانشريها وما رأيت من سيئة فاستريها. And then he requested her, whatever you see good of me, then increase upon that and spread it. But what if you see bad from me, keep it hidden, which is important in marriage. That the Prophet ﷺ told us that man satara muslima satara Allah fi dunya al-akhirah. Whoever conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this world and the next. So then he said, فَبِتُّ مَعَهَا بِأَنْعَمِ لَيْلَةٍ وَمَكَثْتُ 20 سَنَةً وَاللَّهِ لَمْ أَعْتَبْ عَلَيْهَا فِي حَيَاتِي إِلَّا مَرَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَإِنِّي كُنْتُ لَهَا ظَالِمًا. He said, from that night, O Sha'bi, Shurayh is saying, that I spent with her the best of nights. And I spent 20 years with her, I swear by Allah, I never complained about her once, except one time when I was the one who was in wrong. So it is possible for marital harmony to be there. But Allah, He told this ayah that we'll go back to, I'm sorry for taking too much time. But Sa'd ibn Rabi' radiallahu anhu, he once slapped his wife. And his wife came to the Prophet ﷺ complaining. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he was going to give the verdict of qisas, which is retribution. As Allah, He said, وَكَتَبْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ فِيهَا أَنَّ النَّفْسَ بِالنَّفْسِ وَالْعَيْنَ بِالْعَيْنِ وَالْأَنْفَ بِالْأَنْفِ وَالْأُذُنَ بِالْأُذُنِ وَالسِّنَّ بِالسِّنِّ وَالْجُرُوحَ قِصَاصٌ. That Allah made an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, etc., etc. So she was going to get the right to get retribution, and then Jibreel alayhi salam came with revelation of this ayah. Allah, He said, if there is disobedience of the wife to the husband, then He does not mean the husband has to take these steps. But these are what Allah legislated. Number one is to talk to them in an admonition way, verbally, to communicate without insulting or cursing, but showing your disapproval and anger. Number two, وَهْجُرُهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ, that you should not sleep in the same bed as them. And some of the hadith say, وَلَا تَهْجُرْ إِلَّا فِي الْبَيْتِ. If a man is going to stay away from his wife because he is upset at her, he should sleep in the same room. But we see in the life of the Prophet ﷺ that he did ila of his wives for 1 month, 30 days he did not stay with them. And he was the best of creation, ﷺ. And then Allah, He gave an example how to mend the marital discord. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا فَبَعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا إِنْ يُرِيدَا إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. That Allah, He said, if you fear dissension between them and discord, then send a representative from his family and her family. It's not just any representative, but someone who has knowledge, someone who has piety, someone who has good life judgment. That nowadays people go to marital counselors, which is great. But there's also shurut and conditions we should look for in a marital counselor. That this was a practice traditionally in many of our cultures, some of us are familiar with. A person did not have maybe a master's degree in psychology, but they had life experience and understand how this couple can stay together. Allah, He said, إِن يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. If they wish reconciliation, Allah will give them success in their marriage. So anyway, أقول قولي هذا فاستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawalah. Just to conclude, that what is the foundation of a marriage? That even the Prophet ﷺ, he found a time where his wives were complaining about their allowance. The Prophet ﷺ, he was the head of state, alayhi salatu wasalam, but he also had challenges in his marriage. And as mentioned in the Sahih Muslim from Jabir radiallahu anhu, he said Abu Bakr once came and he asked permission from the Messenger ﷺ, and he found people sitting by him, and they did not give permission for him to enter. لَمْ يُؤْذَنْ لِأَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ. فقال فأذن لأبي بكر. So Abu Bakr was given permission to enter. فدخل ثم أقبل عمر. Then after a while Umar came. فاستأذن فأذن له. فوجد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جالسا حوله نساء. So when Umar entered, he saw the wives of the Prophet ﷺ sitting next to him. واجما ساكتا. They were afraid of his, strong personality, and they were silent. فقلت لأقولن شيئا أضحك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he said, I want to say something to lighten the mood and make the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم smile. So he said, يا رسول الله لو رأيت بنت خارجة سألتني نفقة. He said, O Prophet of Allah, if you know this wife of mine, and he mentioned which one it was by the daughter of Kharija, she keeps asking me for money. So then he said, فَقُمْتُ إِلَيْهَا فَوَجَأَتْ عُنُقَهَا.